Hi there, Claire Downham, Queen of Calm here with the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. And today I'm talking about time. It plays such a big part in our lives, doesn't it? And I really had a deep connection to how much my thinking about time plays a part in how I feel over the last few weeks. So quite a few weeks ago now, nearly 2 weeks ago I think, I'm losing track of time, maybe 3 weeks ago, I returned from a holiday. And I returned from the holiday on the Saturday. I had a day of, tidying up and all that kind of washing and stuff. And then on Monday, intended fully to get back into my business, get back into doing the daily doing of my business. And I found that I really wasn't feeling it. And by that I mean I just felt very low. My energy felt really off. And I found myself pottering around doing jobs in the house. So my kitchen cupboards, folks, they look amazing right now because I did some fabulous tidying up of my kitchen cupboards. But I found that engaging with my business, doing the doing, just didn't seem to make sense to me. And I didn't feel good either. I felt off. I guess I would have previously labelled that as feeling depressed. Now, back in the day when I used to give lots of things labels like depression and low motivation and whatever else, I would have called that procrastination. What I was doing or what I wasn't doing in the space where I thought I should have been doing things on my business, I wasn't. Now, I've got into a space recently where I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having a day or two, maybe even 3 days, where I'm just not energetically in a good place to do certain tasks in my business. And I've become, as I say, just okay with that, fine with it. It's okay, I don't have to be on it all the time. I know there's a world out there telling us that we do need to be on it all the time, but I've really started to see that that's not the case. And if you're a human, and particularly if you're a female human, you will probably notice your energy goes up and down all the time, and that you cannot be on it all the time. So I'd got to a space, quite cleverly I thought, of being okay with that, being okay with being in that space of not feeling okay, knowing that it was human not to feel okay all the time. But then something interesting happened, and the thing that happened was time. So as I say, I was okay with it when it was a few days, 2 or 3 days, 1, 2, 3 days maybe. That was fine. But as the week dragged on, my experience of this feeling low became increasingly unpleasant. There became a sense that I should be moving through this by now, that I shouldn't be like this anymore, that it wasn't okay because it was lasting longer than I expected it to. And I started to lose my sense of acceptance. I didn't want to accept it anymore. I didn't want to be okay with it. Until I reached sort of the Tuesday, so a week and a day after I'd come back from holiday, when that Tuesday morning I attended a beautiful ladies group that I attend, a business mentoring group, but one like you've never come across. Ask me about that if you want to know more. And I couldn't put my camera on because I spent the entire hour and a half of the meeting crying. With frustration, I think, as much as anything, but also with this sense of just feeling shocking. And all the time, there was a voice in my head going, it's okay, it's okay, Claire, it's fine, but there was also this deep sense of frustration. And I think a lot of that frustration came from the idea that it should be done by now. But of course it wasn't. And I do find that in the friction in our lives occurs when what we expect isn't what is. We've got it back to front. What is what is. If we go expecting it to be different, if we don't accept what is, that is where the discomfort occurs. It doesn't have to be like that. And what I noticed is that as I cried and as I felt that, and as I allowed that realisation to settle, suddenly I just gradually started to feel better. Now during this time, don't think that I wasn't doing things to help myself feel better. I was going out for walks and I was, I guess trying to shake it off, but doing what feels good in the moment with a sense of this is what I need right now is very different to thinking, right, that's enough, time up, this shouldn't be happening anymore, and then trying to force ourselves into a different space. I don't see so much that is helpful. But what I would maybe love you to do, and let me know about this, is to notice where time in your life is creating pressure. So for me, that was an experience of an internal feeling, a feeling off, for not feeling okay, that I wanted to pass faster than it was ready to do. But there are so many parts of life where time is the pressure. Can you imagine if you took time out of your life and said, right, do you know what is happening is what's happening. I'm not saying don't put dates in your diary and practical things, but the pressure created by time, how much better would you feel if you weren't always looking to things having to happen in a certain way at a certain time? There are some things that need time, I put a cake in the oven, it kind of needs a certain amount of time to be cooked, and if I leave it too short it won't be done, and if I leave it too long it'll be burnt. But you're not a cake, and life, the universe, the energy that is unfolding isn't a cake either. It's like, I don't know if you notice, sometimes I look on my phone at my pictures from a year ago and I go, oh, there's ducklings, and the ducklings haven't arrived yet on the canal. Isn't that, it's just interesting, isn't it? I wonder why the ducklings are a week later than they were last year, or maybe I'm a week later turning up on the canal, who knows? But sometimes it looks like nature's a little bit delayed, perhaps the winter's been harsher, or there hasn't been as much rain or whatever. And then sometimes it's a little bit ahead. But none of us, I don't think any of us are going around shouting at the ground, it's saying to the dandelions that they haven't turned up on time, or the daffodils that they haven't turned up on time. You're a natural being. Life is a natural thing that is unfolding. And when we put time in as a prerequisite of life, as a thing that has to be adhered to, I just think we don't take ourselves in a very helpful direction. So this is just, as always, an invitation to get curious, to bring some awareness to this. Have you noticed, are there places where you are making time into a stick to beat yourself up with, or to beat life up with, because it's not bringing you what you want in a particular time? Just get curious about this and see what you see. I hope you found this helpful today. My name's Claire Downham. I am the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach, and this has been the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly.